Only 5 Premier League clubs haven't spent a penny during this summer's transfer window, and Liverpool was one of them. In fact, by the time you're watching this video, Arsenal might have wrapped up the Calafiori deal, and United could have already finished signing Xerxes. This would leave Liverpool, City, and Fulham as the only clubs with no deals after nearly a month since the window opened. With the club needing reinforcements to give Arne Slot the best tools to succeed, and with targets like Vifer, Calafiori, and others slipping away, one can only wonder what are Michael Edwards and his team waiting for. With Arne Slot and Richard Hughes having their first official press conference with the club, we decided to examine the new sporting director's comments on the transfer plans to explain why the Reds are taking a steady approach to this window. But before we do get into today's deep dive, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Liverpool content. First of all, how refreshing is it to see someone other than the manager addressing the fans and media in a press conference? We usually never hear directly from the club's management, do we? Michael Edwards himself, along with former sporting director Julian Ward and Jorge Schmacker, always preferred to stay out of the spotlight. But now it seems that Richard Hughes and the new management are adopting a different approach, bringing a breath of fresh air and providing more clarity on how the club plans to operate. However, some of Hughes' comments might not sit well with many Liverpool supporters who are eager to see the club show some intent in this summer transfer window. So let's dive deeper into what the new sporting director has said. The Scotsman stated that he's been in daily communication with Arne Slot to prepare for the transfer window. He also highlighted that despite the talent available at the squad, there is still room for improvement. However, the key sentence here is when Hughes said that he and the management will know more as they go. So what does that mean? See, the club's first pre-season game takes place on the 26th of July, and currently, Arne Slot has had his first training session with half the squad still unavailable. Some players like Darwin, Diaz, Gakpo, Van Dijk and Kanate are on international duty, while others like Endo and Salah are returning later than their teammates. Pre-season training sessions are designed to get players back in shape, test their levels, and assess their form. So it's clear that Arne Slot isn't yet 100% familiar with the squad at his disposal, and has yet to start fully implementing his style of play. This is what Hughes means by saying that the club will know more as we go. By the time every player is back, Arne will have a clearer picture of the squad's strengths and weaknesses, which the slow approach adopted in the transfer window so far. Let's consider an example. We all agree that the club needs a new number 6, right? But here's the trick. What if after assessing his full squad, Arne Slot decides that the position isn't a priority? We've explained before how he likes to use a double pivot in midfield, so what if he feels that the players in his squad have the necessary quality to play in those roles? What if he thinks Stefan Bajcetic is ready to start playing regularly for the first team? See, by taking this slow approach, it would not only save the club significant money, but also help avoid bringing in a player who offers the same qualities as those already in the squad. Now, do we agree with this method? We really can't say definitively. It's a double-edged sword if you think about it. While the club is being patient with their movements, others are jumping on deals. Our first choice for the left centre-back here at Panenka, Calafiori, has already agreed to join Arsenal, while Brighton have secured Slot's former player, Matt Vifer, who's been linked with multiple top clubs. In a perfect world, every signing would be completed before the pre-season starts. But we're living in reality, and the club's reality today is that it's going through a transitional phase after Jurgen Klopp. If Slot and the management believe they need to take a steady approach to avoid wasting money or players' potential, then so be it. They are at the club for a reason. Again, it makes sense why the club has had a few quiet weeks in the transfer window, but whether we and you, the fans, agree with this approach is up for debate. Now, going back to Hughes' comments, there's another word that needs to be highlighted. The sporting director said that the club will be opportunistic if they can, so what does that mean? Well, let us explain. The Reds, bar some deals in recent windows, have always been opportunistic when it comes to making deals. Luis Garcia, Sami Hyypiä, Dirk Kuyt and Lucas Leiva were all opportunities that the club seized for less than £10 million. And the same goes for recent history. Joe Gomez, Philippe Coutinho and Andy Robertson were also bargains that the club got for little money. So what does this mean in today's transfer market? Well, let's take a look at Anthony Gordon rumours for example. This video is sponsored by Clothing. Clothing is a Liverpool clothing site owned by match-going fans. Each design is limited edition and is perfect to wear on a match day, on the terraces at Anfield, down your local, or cozy in the comfort of your own home. As stated, each design is limited edition, and if a product is showing out of stock, they will not be restocking the item, so if you have your eye on something, grab it fast. Lastly, Clothing wants fellow Reds to be 100% satisfied with their orders, so if there is a reason you're not happy, they will refund you with no questions asked. Head over to clothing.com or down into the link in the description to get all of your Liverpool merchandise. Anyway, let's get back into today's video. Liverpool have more than enough players for the left wing position, with both Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz available. This is without counting Darwin's ability to play in that position. So if there were no sales in this department, there would be no need for the club to bring in a left winger, right? Still, Liverpool have been more than willing to explore the possibility of signing Anthony Gordon because there was an opportunity. See, Newcastle were struggling with PSR rules, which forced them to approach our club in an attempt to strike a deal involving Gordon and one of our players. Obviously, the club was willing to listen to the Geordies' proposal. However, with Newcastle asking for Jarell Quansah as a part of the deal, and with the Reds already having enough players on the left wing's position, it made no sense to go deeper into negotiations. That was an opportunity the Reds wanted to explore, and it is still a possibility to this day, despite Newcastle no longer being tied by PSR. How that, you say? Well, despite reports suggesting that he's going to stay, Luis Diaz's future at the club is still undecided, and will remain so until the player returns from international duty. So you never know what's going to happen, and the Reds might end up needing a new left winger. With Gordon being known as a Liverpool supporter, and with club negotiations taking place recently, there's no doubt that the player would be more than willing to join the Reds. At least, that's what Ben Jacobs reported, saying that Gordon would have joined the Reds in a heartbeat if a deal had been struck between the two clubs. So this is the kind of opportunity that the club want to seize, and there are other examples too. For instance, players' contracts can play a crucial role. Let's take Feyenoord's Gertruda or Monaco's Fofana as examples. Both players have just 1 year left on their contracts and are expected to leave this summer. Normally, such players with all their quality would cost around £40 million. But in these circumstances, their clubs might be forced to sell for cheaper, possibly cutting £10 million off the price to avoid losses. These are players who might push for a move when approached by bigger teams. It's hypothetical, but what if Liverpool's interest in Ynwa seems from the club's awareness of the player's eagerness to join? Rayan is a client of the Portuguese agency Gestafute, with whom the Reds have an excellent relationship with. If Liverpool approach Wolves for the player, Wolves would likely demand a significant transfer fee. After all, Ryan is just 23 years old with considerable Premier League experience, not to mention his impressive skill set. And with Liverpool needing a long-term option at left back as Robertson approaches his 30s, Wolves would certainly try to maximise their profit. However, due to the Reds' relationship with the player's agency, multiple solutions could be found, including the player forcing a move, which would almost certainly lower the price tag. That would be an opportunity worth taking. Yes, the club have been taking a steady approach so far, but that does not mean they're not exploring their options and anticipating opportunities that may arise, especially once both the Euros and Copa America are all wrapped up. With players focused on their international duties, it's difficult to reach agreements with them or their clubs. Take Ricardo Calafiori for example. Despite the player's spectacular season with Bologna, the club was initially willing to part ways with him for around £25 million received from Juventus. But after his impressive performances at the Euros, Bologna decided to wait for higher bids, ultimately selling him to Arsenal for £45 million. See, the transfer market is ever changing, and with this summer international competitions, things got even more complicated. This might again explain Liverpool's patient and opportunistic approach so far. Again, are we in favour for this approach adopted by Edwards and co? Not really. While Slot is assessing his squad and the Reds are exploring their opportunities, huge talents can be snatched away by other clubs. But these guys are in charge for a reason, whether it is to bring the perfect balance to the squad or keep the club in a healthy financial state. We should all show our support for this new management as they lead us into a new era after Jurgen Klopp. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with the Reds' approach so far in the window? Or do you think that while the club is being opportunistic and patient, they are letting other opportunities slip away? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.